I'm Kelly Siegel, and this is Harder Than Life, a podcast about self-love, self-awareness, business, and health. We tell outrageous stories and boil everything down to simple, practical advice you can start using today. Let's get living. I have no clue where to even start with today's guest. My transformation was bananas, but Pastor Julian, or Pastor Jew, as he goes by, blows my story away. I met this guy years ago, and he was in executive protection, basically like the Secret Service. He's a real bad, tough guy. However, now he's turned his life over to God and spreading his word. His smile lights up any room, and he's handsome as can be. I suggest you follow him on social media and tune into him on Sunday's worship service. You'll walk away inspired. Welcome to the Heart of Life podcast, my brother, Julian Hayes.
My brother, what's going on, man? How you feel?
I'm so happy to see you. I don't even know. I prepared some questions, but I just have a feeling that this is going to go wherever because I feel your love. I feel your energy. You know, you and I go way back, had many conversations when you were working at the with Ryan, and you were an amazing man back then. But now, tell me, what's your story and why does it matter?
Well, let me just be completely transparent today. I just want to let everyone know this is Harder Than Life podcast, and I've had a roller coaster life. You know, with my life, I'm the fourth son of 5 boys to my mother, and we grew up in the urban city of Detroit, Michigan, and she was my mother's Miss Julian Hayes. I always want to shout her name out because she was a woman that was dedicated on making sure that her boys become successful in each and every way she could possible, understanding our atmosphere, understanding our surroundings. She still made sure that we were pushing to get to the point in life where we'd be successful in everything that we do.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she's still there.
What a great name, Aletha.
Yeah, Aletha.
Shout out to your boy, Aletha. He's a good boy. So, again, what you went from executive protection and now you're a pastor. Talk to me. Tell the listeners about that.
So I got to shout out Ryan Lever. You know, that's our brother. That's our brother. He gave me an opportunity that blew my mind. So at one point in time, I was in the streets doing street things. I'll just put it like that. And I was very successful doing it. And I got married and had a son. And I wanted to transfer my life into a better lifestyle. And I actually just went and got a regular security job. I thought it was kind of beneath me. I'm being honest with you. And, but I trusted the process. I trusted what God had for me. And because I didn't even know one thing I didn't want to do, I didn't want people, busting in my doors, and I couldn't tell on nobody. So I said, let me go ahead and just change my life. And I got the security job. I was there for a while, and Ryan came in and took over the company. And based upon him taking over the company, he's seen something in me where I went from just a regular security job to being, his executive protection, and went from a certain amount of money to 6-figure salary. And he literally trusted the God in me and trusted me as an individual, where I literally was his right hand man. Everything he did, his moves and things like that, I was right there. I helped push the agenda wholeheartedly. You were working for a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. He raised, I think he doubled or tripled the income at that place. Oh, for sure.
So he did really well. And we were doing the National Technology Management was doing the IT. That was fun times.
For sure.
But since then, we've all kind of gone our separate ways. Mm-hmm. What took you to, you've always been a man of God. We've always talked about that. But what took you to become a pastor?
It was always in me, Kelly. It was always in me. I think going through the corporate or the business side of things set me up administratively for the church. I had the witness in me. I had the drive in me the whole time, but I didn't have the administrative portion altogether. And I believe me, being there and working closely with Ryan, it allowed me to do and learn administration on steroids. And so now I literally, after the pandemic, God literally told me this is the time to do it. According to popular opinion, you don't start a church after the pandemic because if you do the analytics, churches were closing left and right during the pandemic because people weren't coming. And I trusted God, trusted the process, and based upon me doing that, we're thriving and we're growing.
You're the sole pastor?
I'm the senior pastor of the church.
And what's the name of the church?
I Live Church.
I Live. It's off of
it's between 6 and 7 Mile and on Wyoming, 18901 Wyoming.
I tune into them. I want to come one of these Sundays. I always have my daughter, and I want to come. I tune in online, and I love it. And then you do your Tuesday night things.
Yep.
I love those.
Study. I do it from the house. Yeah. So it's just you have to. What I've learned, Kels, is that you have to adjust. One thing I don't do is that I don't complain. I adjust. If you sit and complain, you allow your complaints to make excuses for you. And that's one thing I don't do. I expect to live. And if I expect to live, I have to adjust in areas of my life that sometimes you cannot identify at face value.
So no victims allowed, and that's real talk. Mm-mm. Is that your overarching message, the real theme of the take? What are they? I've listened. Somebody that just tunes in for the first time, what are they going to take away from Pastor Ju?
What they're going to take away from Pastor Ju, that's a good question, Kels. What they're going to tune in and see from I Live Church and Pastor Ju is you're going to see somebody that's going to keep it completely real with you. What I've learned, Kels, is that people don't kill you for being human. They kill you for being perfect. Mark, let me lay that out for you.
I was completely quiet. I'm like, where's he going with this? So first of all, nobody's going to kill me.
No. When I say kill you, meaning people have they criticize you based upon
metaphorically.
When you come and present yourself perfect in front of them.
Oh.
But when you give them an opportunity to say, I have human moments that I'm dealing with some of the things that you're dealing with, then they will understand when you make a mistake or anything, they won't kill you for being perfect. But they will understand that you have human moments also. And so what I said that to say this is that pastors all across the country have sometimes deal with certain issues based upon them having this perfect perspective or people deeming them perfect in the eyes of people. But they don't understand, people don't understand that you have faults too. You have issues too. You have things that you need the Savior to make sure that you are, he's considering for you also. And so when they see Pastor Ju, they're going to see somebody that's going to keep it completely 100. That's why I believe my church is growing, is because I get up there on every Sunday basis and let them know, hey man, as I'm praying for you, pray for me. I have some issues. I have faults. I have things also. And I'm going to preach the good news. I'm going to push the agenda and let them know that there is a Savior out here for your life, that you don't have to do this thing on your own. And I understand that life can be hard. But we have a conduit. We have an avenue we can take to make sure that when life becomes hard, that you don't have to break in the process.
Well said, Julian.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. I got to tell you, I'm so proud of you. I love you. I
love you back, man.
I can't even say enough on how our paths crossed so many years ago, and here we are again, and it's so good to see you. I get these random FaceTime calls from you, and you're in the middle of some kind of thing. You're like, hey, you got to meet my people. So you're always looking out for me. You're always sending blessings my way, and I'm always thinking of you and sending them back to you.
And let me tell you this, Kels. Let me thank you publicly, because you were definitely a mentor of mine. If you ever want to know how God thinks about you, let him put you around certain people. He'll show you how he thinks about you when he allows you to meet certain people and cross certain paths. And I want to thank you publicly, because there's been conversations to this day that we've had that I will come back, and it'll come back to my remembrance, and I will know how to adjust in that moment because of the conversation you and I had. So I want to thank you publicly, because God didn't make a mistake when he put us together.
I got to tell you, I made a list of the top 25 podcast guests, and before I even started this, and you were on it.
Wow.
So I just had to send it to someone who said, "Hey, let me help you get some of the bigger guests."
Okay.
And they're like, "Who's Julian Hayes?" I was like, "Don't worry, I got him coming up." I just knew that I had to have you, and we've had a tremendous conversations, and there's just, I want the world to know who you are, but I've been out with you before you were a pastor. So
sure.
We've had some fun.
For sure.
We went to one of those Thanksgiving where we had just a blast at the football game, and then we went to Capitol Grill, and that was one of the best nights I've had. We were safe, and we were fun, and we had a driver, and it was just a blast. Mm-hmm. But if you could give your 18-year-old self one specific piece of advice, what would it be?
Enjoy the ride.
Ooh.
Enjoy the ride. Sometimes we beat ourselves up so much because we want to correct mistakes, not understanding you have to learn the lesson that comes with the mistake. What I learned, Kels, is that in life you have to be a student, but you don't have to be a student forever. Eventually you have to teach the lesson. So my 18-year-old self, what I would do is I probably wouldn't change anything, because the ride has adjusted me for right where I am right now.
That's great advice. That's perfect advice. Life is a roller coaster. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to learn more from the downs and the ups. All too often we have people on a merry-go-round. I love it. They're just going to puke and get bored, 'cause it's the same thing. It's so mundane. That's kind of why I'm here.
It's crazy you said that. But when you're riding the roller coaster, I would recommend ride the roller coaster with your hands up. What you're doing, you're basically saying, I'm surrendering to the ride. Ugh. I'm enjoying the ride, and I'm adjusting to every turn, every curve that comes with it. And a lot of times people try to get off the ride too early. But you forgot. You signed up for this. You stood in the line for this. Ride the ride, but just ride it with your hands up and surrender to every curve and every turn that you got to make.
So I know that you're a man of God, because I wrote that in my journal this morning. So somebody was looking over my shoulder and said, I said, Siegel, for God's sake, surrender already. I'm always trying to fight everything and resist. What we resist persists, and I just want to surrender. So Do you have any advice on people that are having trouble with surrendering?
That's probably, being honest with you, Kels, that's probably their problem. And that the surrender, what I've learned about surrendering is that if it's God's will, he's going to make it happen anyway. What you're doing is delaying the process even longer when you're not surrendering. If you surrender, you can actually expedite the process. But you're going against the grain, or you're trying to figure out how I can do it my way, and how I can, you're doing it out of your own will. It's going to always be a delayed process. And you're holding up on what God has for you by doing it your way. And my question is how has that been getting you?
Well, I'm living pretty good, but I'm not living in alignment like I want to. I'm living a little bit in the past, or in the future than the present. I just want to be right here, right now, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah,
I stole your stuff, so. I got to tell you, I've never said this to you. I love when you call me Kels. I don't know. You're the only person that ever calls me that, and I've always loved it. And I don't know why. You just make me smile, make my heart smile. And I don't think I was comfortable enough being vulnerable back in the day. Right. We had to be big, tough guys. Sure. Ryan's always trying to be the tough.
For sure.
I call him baby brother now because he's younger than me, and I'm bigger than him now, and he gets so mad at me. So, I say baby brother, and I give him crap. Who are some of your heroes or mentors?
I have a few. Ryan Lepper, Kelly Siegel, guys named Dwight Dobbins, and I have a few names I can drop all day. It's, God has blessed me to bump into some amazing people. He's aligned my future up with, people in my pathway that has geared me and had really seen the potential in me. And it's just, I have a lot of them, Kels. I'll be talking all day.
Oh, I know that.
When I say mentors and heroes, and then a lot of them don't have big names. It's just people that I could be sitting at the restaurant, and they'll drop something in my ear that will literally catapult me to my future.
I love it. What inspired you to the pulpit?
Well, tell you the truth, I was running from it because, I felt as if I was not prepared for it. I felt like I had a whole bunch of faults and had a whole bunch of issues that will actually take me the opposite way. And what I've learned about God, that he chooses you, faults and all. When he made you, he knew, when he created you, Kels, you were architecturally structured. The Bible tells us he took his time with us. And so everything pertaining me, he already knows about me. There's no secret I can give God about me. And that's what I love about him, is that and that's what drew me to the pulpit, is that he's given me so much ammunition to tear down the enemy's territory. And the word tells me that the power of life is at the tip of my tongue. So what that means is, at the tip of my tongue is either my funeral or my resurrection. So that's why it's very essential. You have to monitor what comes out of your mouth, because your words start becoming, it's the framework of how your life will look. And so you have to make sure that the words that come out of your mouth, they are life. You're not speaking death over your life, because if you do, you'll start looking at some things and you'll start signing yourself up for some things that you never want to approach your life.
Oh, man, I love that. What was your first sermon on? Do you remember?
Yeah, my first sermon was Job. I'll never forget it. And the message was entitled, "I'm built for this." Oh, I'm built for this. So I dealt with Job. The story of Job talks about literally he had to deal and encounter a whirlwind of things in one day because God brung his name up. There'll be some things in your life, Kels, that you will feel as if hell is trying to run up on you. But you don't understand. And that moment, really, God is really bragging on you, because he feels as if anything that comes your way, you're ready to endure it. And so that's what I dealt with, that when Job had to face those storms and face tribulations, when you get a chance, read that. It's a very amazing story. That when it was all said and done, he was built for everything that came his way. And see, people don't understand what you're facing right now is not because, God has, he's demeaning you, or he has pressure on you. No, he wants to show you how much you have in you, and that you're able to go through anything in life and overcome it, man.
You're blowing my mind, because you know what? Every time everything gets tough for me, I literally look up at the sky and go, literally, another test? Yeah. I'm built for this.
Come on.
I say that. I was like, I passed every test. We've all passed every test. So I literally do look up, what are you trying to teach? And then I'll ask the second question, what are you trying to teach me?
Come on. You can't have a testimony without a test. You can't.
Microphone drop right there.
You can't have a testimony without a test. And what I love about God, though, is that sometimes in the test, the teacher does not talk during the test. You know why? Because they feel as if they have given you everything that you need to pass the test. But what I love about God is that even though he might not be talking to me in this moment, he's still in the classroom.
Wow, Jules, you're so inspiring. How much work did you do to be this good? Because you just didn't drop security and then just pick up the Bible.
Right.
Talk about the backstory. Like, what did you do? Did you have to go to school? Did you have to study? What did you have to do? And then where do you get? I've listened to a lot. Eric Thomas is the hip hop preacher.
Okay,
he's not even as motivating as you. He's gonna yell at me for that because he's a Detroit guy too.
Yeah.
So
E.T.
E.T. great guy. And then Jason Wilson. He's a local Detroit guy too. I'm chasing him.
He sounds familiar.
Real nice guy. But he wrote Battle Cry.
Okay.
Anyways, you're trying to be Julian. You're doing a great job of it. Tell us what it took to become from executive protector to Pastor Jew.
Pain.
Ooh.
Struggle and endurance. Pain, let me repeat it. Pain, struggle, and endurance.
Built for this, right?
Yeah, pain. People run from pain, but don't understand that your pain is really trying to take you somewhere. And we don't. Sometimes we allow it to take us to places where we don't belong. But if it's something called healthy pain. Whereas this pain is healthy for you. So like if you were in a boxing match and you're fighting, and then you say your eye get busted or something like that, the cut man in the corner will have to do what? Kind of cut your eye so you can see better. And so what that means, that means in that moment, that's healthy pain. So sometimes you have to hurt to see better. That's why sometimes it's good for somebody that, the breakup was good for you. So you might have to hurt now. See, I always say this, Kels, I'd rather deal with the hurt now than deal with the murder later. So if I got to cry over it right now, but I'm still able to pick up and go and still live after the fact, then I'd rather deal with that now. And the pain has taken me places, man, where, I felt that, certain people I thought they would be there, the people you can count on, depend on, hurt the hell out of me. And, but it let me know that if they couldn't be there or they wouldn't be there, God said he will always fill that void. And he was always filling that void and helping me to understand that there was better on the table. And he never left me, man. And based upon him never leaving me, I was always able to adjust temperatures and adjust my atmosphere. And it's been working. It's been working for me, man.
I always say pain is the portal to growth.
Ooh, I love that.
So it's to go somewhere from someplace bad to better, you're gonna pass through worse.
Ooh, I love
that.
It
has to go. Oh, you got to invite me to the church. I'll get up there. I'll be the white Jewish chosen one there. Be like, hey,
you coming?
I love it.
I'm setting up something now.
I love it. Tell us something that you believe in that almost no one agrees with you on.
That's a good one. That no one agrees with me on. That's a good question, Kels. I would say that what I've learned is that sometimes your best season and your worst season is in the same season.
You're killing me. Okay, explain. Because I swear to you, I just came off the best season, and then I feel like I'm coming out of the worst season, but now I think I'm in this best and worst season. So explain.
Most of the times, your best season and your worst season is in the same season. It's because, first of all, you can't articulate what's going on right now. You can't put a definition.
You're blowing my mind. Like this is getting weird. Like, have you been at my house? You see my cameras or something?
This was the act of God.
I believe it.
You cannot. Sometimes you can't put definition or define what you're looking at right now. And so now it's in your head or in your mind. You feel like, what's going on? This is the worst season of my life. Because what we try as men, we try to be proactive rather than reactive. And so we try to be ahead of the game before certain things approach us. And so what we do is literally take God out of the equation. When he says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, that means everything that he has assigned for my life has already been taken care of. All I got to do is keep on living. If I keep on living, I'm going to get there. And it's already established for me. It's already set up for me. And what we do is sometimes we misconstrue the process. How do we do that, Kels? It's because
the ego, self-justification,
self-justification and our own motives. See, a lot of times our motives get in the way of what God's true intent is for our life,
which is the
ego, for sure. So they marry each other for sure. What we need to do, and when I say the best season and the worst season is the same season, is to find out and adjust our lives to what God ultimately has for us. What is that? His plan, his will, and his purpose. If I get his plan in my life, I know I'm going to be fine. If I adjust my plan to his purpose, I know I'll be well. And if I continuously and perpetually do that, there's no good thing that he will withhold from me. Everything that he has for me is already prepared for me.
That's deep. When was your good and bad season? When was yours? And what was going on? Just to give us a little contrast,
a
little story.
I'm gonna be honest. I was married before.
Yeah, I know.
And
I meant to ask about your son. How old is he now?
He's 13.
Oh,
he's running the world. Yeah, I gotta let you see him. I was married before. It was, and when that divorce, it was very cataclysmic, man. It was very, it was hard because I don't deem myself a successful failure. I don't want to be. I failed in marriage at one point in time, and it killed me because I didn't get married to have a divorce, to get a divorce, and but at the same time it taught me in that worst season who I am and I don't have to literally depend on somebody all of my life. I had somebody. God was already in my life. He was already taking care of things. But I felt in that portal of my life that I could not live without her. But once I got out of that and we separated and went our separate ways, I understood I could stand on my own 2 feet and keep on living, man.
That was so profound and deep. If you could have dinner with one person who's alive or dead, who would it be and why?
If I could have dinner with somebody that's alive or dead, who would it be? I think me personally, I would want to have dinner with President Obama. The reason I want to have dinner with him is because he has seen some things that's it and has lived a life rather that according to popular opinion, he should not have lived. He had to make decisions. He had to respond certain ways and had to do it under scrutiny, had to do it, being oppressed from multiple directions. And I would just want to be a sponge at the table with him just to hear literally everything he had to endure and everything that he's seeing and operating in right now. Because I bet you this, Kels, that I think he's still running the country to a degree. being honest with you.
Oh boy.
And let's leave it like that. And I think a lot of, and just being married to Michelle and his kids and all of that, like, how did you do that? Being, the scrutiny and just, having to play from the background and get to the point where he's now, one of the best presidents, I believe, that ever sat in that White House.
I think that he was hard for him to get his agenda passed because he had a Republican Congress.
Oh, for sure.
I will tell you this much: he's undisputedly one of the best orators,
period,
around, and he's notoriously makes you feel like the most important person in the room, and I admire that. And the way he speaks is phenomenal. So I'm so impressed that you didn't go with one of the other orators like Martin Luther King or Louis Farrakhan or who else is inspiring? Because
the difference with that, Martin had the dream, Obama lived it.
Ooh,
that was the difference. And I'm a big Martin Luther King fan, but I wanted to talk to somebody that lived the dream and that can tell me how, this is the process, this is the route, and this is how you respond to it.
Do you follow any of the other guys like Joel Osteen or who's that one guy? Stephen Furtick.
He's a beast.
Oh,
he's a beast.
He's the godfather of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, the guy, Stephen Furtick is great. Darius Daniels, T.D. Jakes. I follow all of them to get inspiration because there are times when you're feeling everybody else that you have to get filled. And a lot of times we forget to refill ourselves when you pour out. It's hard to pour into somebody when you're empty. And that's what a lot of us, we're trying to help people when we really need the help. When we need to kind of, you're trying to push somebody to their next level when you need to be pushed to yours.
Full vulnerability, man. That's probably why you're here, man. You've always liked coming down and seeing you and talking to you. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, I've been running on E a lot lately. Mm-hmm. I'm pushing everything, every button, and nothing's working. As you said, pain is the portal, or and I'm in that phase where good and bad is happening at the same time, but I just know no way but going forward. And there's certain days where I'm just like, I'm running on fumes. I run on coffee.
Wow.
And good intentions. So I'm glad you're here because I feel you and I feel whatever's with you a lot. So I'm getting recharged, and I needed it. And
But let me tell you this,
full
Ken.
vulnerability for me to say to another man,
For sure.
I needed somebody to breathe some life into me, and you're doing that. So I love you for that. Thank you.
Let me tell you this, man. Kels, I'm so glad you ain't throwing the towel. I'm so glad that you're staying faithful to your process and staying committed. There's so many people that's counting on you. There's so many people that's depending on you, that you are literally putting food on their table. Your submission to your process is allowing people to grow and develop in theirs. And don't underestimate who you are. You're just having a moment, and you got to understand moments change. Feelings change. Don't get caught in this one phase of things right now, because sooner or later you're going to see why you had to go through it.
I received that. Thank you. And I will tell you this much. And this is going to sound cocky and arrogant, but it isn't. It just comes from, I have no other option.
Come on, man.
There ain't no other option. I ain't going to quit. I ain't going back to drinking. I ain't going back to that life.
Come on.
I'm here for a reason. Everything that I've been given is for a reason. There is a reason. You know my background. I've been shot at. I've been stabbed. I've been beat. I've been punched. Ain't nothing going to kill me. I'm going to live to a ripe old age, and I'm going to do really good things. So and I say that too. It's like, I don't have another option.
The devil should have killed you when he had the chance. It's over now. You good? And don't, that's what I'm saying. The process is trying to teach you something. Learn the lesson.
And believe me, you were right there with me with a couple of those nights.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, they tried, but I'm a little tougher than that. That's funny. What's your biggest, what do you fear?
I fear itself. I'm with God, I'm not scared of anything. I promise you. I'm not a big fella. I've been in the streets. I've done some things in my life that I'm not so proud of. That people would be scared of me. Just put it like that. And
you're so handsome. I don't know how anybody can be afraid of you.
And you know what I mean, Kels. But I'm not. I'm scared of being scared. Meaning, what I mean by that is that fear sometimes will not allow you to develop, grow, or mature, because you feel as if that you're not supposed to be at a certain place, or you're not supposed to be in a certain arena. And you will miss out on things being scared of it.
I'm going to disagree with you for the first time ever, because I'm going to tell you right now, and this is just me.
Come on.
Fear tells me where I got to go. That's where I have to go. If I fear something, I must do it. That was what this podcast was about. But I'm not like most men. I'm not like most people.
But let me articulate that, because I'm like, if you're coming from that context, when I started the church, scared as hell. And you know what I told myself? I have to do it scared.
That's why I love you.
I have to do it afraid. But there are certain moments though that's what I was just saying, is that you can be scared or afraid of a thing, and you can literally miss your blessing. I have people, I promise you this, I have people that's calling my phone on a consistent basis, and they're calling me to get encouragement, to get motivation. But if I would have not done what I, done it scared, or started it while I was afraid, the people will be literally left out there astray right now, because I wasn't going to ultimately walk in my calling, and I didn't do it afraid. Being scared is really the first start. That's the beginning of the process. That's the first thing you have to understand, is that being afraid will come. Being afraid will come to meet you, but you have to do it, even if scared is a part of the process.
But most won't, and that's
the
problem. That drives me insane. Like, you're scared. Oh my God, let me tap out to this. Let me numb out. Let me take some drugs. Let me take some drinking. Let me tap out. The first sign of discomfort, and that ain't me, man. That ain't you.
I love it.
No. It ain't you. Mm-mm. Let's go.
Ain't no way. It's not. See, we run from purpose. Oh, I ain't gonna say we, because we in it. Or a lot of people run from purpose because, like I told you earlier, because they don't have a definition of it yet. When you can define it, you're more willing to go after it. But sometimes you got to understand, you got to paint the picture. You got to be your own Picasso. You have to literally paint it how you want to see it. create it. This picture behind you, or behind you, or this graphics behind you, Kels, somebody had to see it in their brain first before it actually became an actual artifact. So you cannot run from stuff that you're supposed to create.
So you're saying paint what done is. So really what you're saying is write out your goals.
Yeah.
Spell them out.
Paint the picture. Certain things will never manifest until you create it.
Ooh, the word manifest. But manifest, you have to have action.
Yeah.
I love it. Define happiness for the listeners.
Happiness. There's a difference between happiness and joy.
Ooh.
Me personally, I'd rather have joy than happiness, because sometimes happiness is only based upon what's happening. So
the jujuism right there.
So what I want to do is have joy. Joy allows me to be in any situation, good or bad. I'm going to find some way to find some type of joy in my life, even if it's in bad moments, even if it's in sorrowful, even if it's somebody that's probably passed on. I still have to find joy in that moment. See, happiness is predicated most of the times on what's happening. So if something is not working for you in that moment, then there's a different emotion that might, approach you. So me personally, give me joy over happiness.
I'm writing that down. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Happiness is predicated on what's
happening.
That's so good. I put a post out the other day. They said, I'm not happy. Mm-hmm. I'm joyful. I am content, and I'm not sad. And all anybody heard was I'm not happy. And I got flooded with messages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's okay. You're going to get through it. I said, whoa, I said the same thing you just said.
Right.
But I said, I'm not happy. And really the only reason I said that is because I felt myself falling out of alignment. I'm doing a lot of things for a lot of people, spreading myself very thin, and I'm never in the moment. You said earlier, surrender. Mm-hmm. I am so into what's tomorrow, what's the next day. Next week, I'm going down to do a speaking engagement. And it's like I'm constantly in the future. Mm-hmm. And I'm pulling myself back, but it's hard not to with so much going on.
Yeah.
So that true happiness is being right here in the moment, doing what you want to do. Mm-hmm. But I'm joyful. I'm low. And I'm not regretful. I have no negative feelings. And so what do they focus on? I'm not happy. You're supposed to be happy all the time. So what? Was drinking and doing drugs make you happy?
Come on, man.
Nah, I'll pass.
Completely.
What happens when we die?
What I've learned, what I've discovered is that when you die, what I've been put like this, I've never seen a U-Haul at a funeral. Meaning everything that you've acquired here on earth has to leave here. It has to be, stay here. I said that to say this: when you die empty. Make sure that you left everything on the table when you tap out of here. Meaning you fulfill purpose. You've done everything that was necessary with your family. And when you tap out of here, that means everything that you've endured while you were here, you can say, hey, I'm ready to go now. I'm put like this. I am not scared to die, Kels. A lot of people are. The reason I'm not scared to die is because I believe in that thing called purpose. Is that when God calls my name, I believe everything in me, I'm going to leave everything behind. And I can truly say that my purpose was fulfilled, destiny was accomplished, and I left legacy behind, a legacy effect. And that's my ultimate goal, is to leave. My body can die, but my name won't. And that's what I'm going to leave, a name.
What do you want that legacy to be? Be specific. Paint done for me.
Paint done. Okay. I want when Julian Hayes' name is mentioned, I want to say he helped people out of situations that they couldn't really help themselves in. I wanted them to say that he was an amazing man to even be around. He was a purpose-driven person. I want people to say when I came and was around Julian Hayes in any shape, form, or fashion, that I became, or who that person that's talking, they became a better person just even being in my presence. That's what I want them to say. I want them to literally say that Julian Hayes made me become a better individual.
It's been like that. I can say that about you since the day I met you.
Come on.
And I mean that. You know that.
Yes, sir.
What's 10 years from now look like for Pastor Jew?
10 years from now, Kels, I'm in the process of searching out for church buildings and things like that. 10 years from now, man, I want to be married again. I want to have a few other streams of income. But man, I really just want to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable in purpose, man. And the thing is, man, I'm not racing in the future, but I'm living in the future. So how that marry each other, because everything is futuristic right now. If you're not thinking, like you were saying, kids, if you're not there yet in your mind, I don't know what you're waiting on. But what I've learned too is that you have to capitalize on this moment. Also, is that you will miss this moment trying to live in the next one, and so you have to be able to be comfortable where you are and start adjusting for where you're going.
So we grew up in the streets, and we've done some thug things in our life.
Oh, for sure.
And I've always there's no fight, flight, or freeze for me. It is fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I know is the fight. Even when there's not a fight to be had, I'm fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I am trying to work on being comfortable, being comfortable.
Come on, man.
Because my whole life's been uncomfortable, man. Whole life. It would kill most people to know what I went through.
Come on.
So the hardest thing in the world for me is to just sit here and accept.
Yeah.
And so be comfortable being uncomfortable, or be comfortable being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
My life is pretty comfortable right now.
Come on, man.
And it is.
It looks amazing.
Weird. It is amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm with you too. That's why we're gonna end this with this married, because how do you date a pastor?
Oh man. Be 100.
So you're single?
Be real.
Are you dating?
Yeah, I'm dating.
So how does someone find they got to come to the church, put something in the plate?
Oh no, they ain't got to do all that. First, that's the Bible tells us that a man has to seek after a woman. I'm a firm believer of that. If you come and seeking after me, I'm probably not gonna give you no attention, because there's motives, intent, and you're just a lot of women love pastors. Just being real with you, I have women that's come to my church that I know that they were coming just for me. Or if I showed you my DM, it's crazy because of they want a word from the Lord, but at the same time they want a word from Julian Hayes. And so
the whole time I'm thinking they want to say, "Oh God, someone." Sorry, I took it there. I couldn't help it. I apologize, Lord. I apologize.
Some form of fashion, but yeah, man, it's an adventure.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's dig into that a little deeper. If we're going to talk about manifestation and you want to be married, what does the future Mrs. Julian Hayes look like? Paint me done for that.
She looks like somebody I can depend on. Somebody I don't want to be Superman around her all the time. I want to be Clark Kent. I want to have moments where I can just come lay on her and tell her about my day. I want her to be my peace rather than my chaos.
That's so important.
I want her to literally help. See, what I've learned this too, Kels, and I'm being honest with you. I think there's a point in life where you can reach a ceiling where you can't get any. The success level your success level can reach a ceiling alone. But when you have a partner that will help you get to that next level, man, I promise you, it makes the road a lot more easier and the road worth taking. And I believe I'm reaching my ceiling right now where I know my partner is needed for my next moment.
That's why you're here, because I feel the same way. I will tell you, the reverse is true, as we both know.
Yeah.
a chaotic, misaligned woman can drag you down.
Oh my goodness.
So that's my big thing. Is my biggest peace, freedom, and clarity.
Come on, man.
And it is so important for me to have peace.
A woman can either do two things. Either she can build you up or she can tear you down. There's no gray area. Either you building me up or you're tearing me down. And what we as men have to do is be able to put a definition on who you're partnering with.
I love it.
That's on you.
So how can I personally support you?
Personally support
you and your mission.
Personally, just keep pushing me. We can't financially support us at I Live Church. You can write it to make all checks payable to I Live Church.
Is there an online where people can donate?
Yeah, Cash App. We do Cash App. I Live Church Detroit. Givelify. I Live Church Detroit. Cash App. Pastor Julian 86. Man, I'm just and the crazy thing is, Kels, it's crazy you said that, man. I did this with not a lot of support. I did it out of my own finance banking, and I'm just if I don't believe in myself, who else will?
I believe in you. So does Ryan.
I know. But I'm just saying you have to be the first partaker of your vision. And that's how we push the agenda.
So you just got a little glimpse of how amazing and miraculous and just earth moving he is. Tune in on Sundays. They stream. Go down to the church. Everything will be in the show notes, and experience this amazing, kind individual. And if you're single,
you crazy.
Just hit him up. Don't slide into those DMs.
No. I'm too busy right now. But let me leave you with this, and I know we're getting ready to go. Or you got something else?
No. We're gonna wrap up.
Let me leave you this. Don't give up. Giving up sometimes it seems like it's the most easiest thing to do. Understand that God has something for you, and the agenda is to make sure that you get there. Getting there is really the battle. And sometimes you allow people, places, and things to detour you. But I want to speak over your life today and let you know that God has something amazing for you. All you have to do is keep yourself aligned with the process, and make sure that your foot is still on the gas. Never let off the gas, because God's trying to take you somewhere. Meet you when you get there.
I love you, man. That was freaking amazing. We're going to have you on again, and we're going to do a 2-hour one, because we could have I had to make it short because of time, but
you're my brother, man.
I love you, man. I gotta remind the listeners that each and every episode is sponsored by National Technology Management. That's what brought us together. NTM.
You know I know about them. How my boys doing over there? All my people good?
Everybody's still Tim's still cooking along. We're the easiest and best IT company to do business with. Just ask Pastor Jew, and God.
For sure.
Deliver peace of mind with technology every day. Visit trustntm.com for more info. Until next week, be harder than life. Thank you for listening. Please rate and subscribe to Harder Than Life, and let's take this to the next level. Get connected at the links below.